were not clear about the health risks mercury poses.
Information has been sent out to the parents, the teachers know about it, the children know about it, and parents will slowly will just start depositing the mercury thermometers in the drop box, which will be taken along with the toxic slings and with the representation of the student body and the parent body to the government, and kept on the table and said, now what? We cannot have this kind of mercury poisoning our lives, and we definitely seek an answer.
Mercury has always been closely associated with the healthcare practice. Since the ancient period of Ayurveda to modern-day medicine, mercury in some form or the other has been used over the ages. Mercury in dentistry was first practiced by the Chinese civilization in the 7th century, but it wasn't until 1859 that the American Dental Association passed it as a safe medium for use. Dentists from the world over have used mercury amalgams for tooth fillings. There are conclusive studies today that show that an estimated 20% of the mercury used in these fillings is lost in the first 10 years.
It's used in amalgam fillings. Mercury is mixed with silver alloy and to form filling material that's used in the dentistry. Patients come up, they ask us whether how are you going to fill the tooth. Please give us a tooth colored filling. I don't think they are aware of the toxic effects of mercury, but I think it's more a cosmetic preference.
A recent study conducted at Delhi hospitals have shown very high levels of mercury in ambient air, hinting of exposure of healthcare staff and patients in such facilities.
And there are two issues here. First of all, if mercury use can be avoided, it should be avoided. If not, then you need a very thorough program of occupational health surveillance, which means you have to educate workers, you have to have a good ventilation system in place, you have to provide them personal protective equipment, you have to monitor the workroom air for the mercury concentration. So I think that roughly it's a lot on education and containing the exposure. You see, all occupational environmental medicine is nothing but handling the exposure rather than handling the person. So you have to keep the exposures down so that the levels which are injurious to health are not created.
Two of the most important readings of a patient are procured with the help of mercury instruments. The common fever thermometer and the sphygmomanometer are the two most commonly used instruments during the diagnosis of a patient. Both meters have traditionally used mercury due to its wide liquid stage temperature range, which makes it convenient to use in thermometers. On an average, a 100-bedded hospital pumps almost 3 kilograms of mercury in the environment each year.
Many hospitals in Delhi, Chennai, Mumbai have started removing their old mercury thermometers and replacing them with safer digital thermometers. They've also started changing the blood pressure instruments, which have a significant amount of mercury and which cause exposures to nurses and ward boys in the hospital setting.
St. Stephen's Hospital in New Delhi has made a step towards the positive. They were one of the first institutions to become a mercury-free hospital in the capital.
We at St. Stephen's Hospital were sensitized to the adverse effects of mercury. So from 2002 to around 2005, we had a gradual phase out of mercury thermometers, and currently we have completely stopped purchasing mercury thermometers and are using only digital thermometers in all areas in the ward.
On an average, 70 thermometers were broken yearly in a 300 to 500 bed hospital. The staff at St. Stephen's Hospital is now glad that this practice has been reversed. Mercury spill management is one of the key issues being addressed at hospitals these days. Steps like these will ensure the safety of patients and healthcare personnel within a hospital environment.
Elemental mercury principally affects two organs of the body. One is the lungs. So one person can experience like headaches, fever, lethargy, tiredness, fatigue, and also cough, respiratory infection. That is because of the reaction of the mercury with the lung epithelium. Then eventually it will get absorbed, and almost 70% of the absorbed mercury will then get attached to the red blood cells, and some of it will pass to the brain. Typical features could be, he may have a gingivostomatitis, that gingivitis comes, start bleeding. Then there may be tremors of the hands, very fine tremors. And then there can be visual disturbances, olfactory, what we call the constriction of the field. They form a classical picture of elemental mercury toxicity.
It is for this reason that adequate measures and precaution must be taken if one is to have a mercury spill in their house.
ये मर्करी स्पिलेज किट है। जब मर्करी फ्लोर में स्पिलेज हो जाती है तब हम सबसे पहले हम कोई भी ऑर्नामेंट्स हाथ में डाला है, रिंग वगैरह डाली है, तो हम उसको रिमूव कर देते हैं और फिर उसके बाद हम ग्लव्स डालेंगे। हम डबल ग्लव्स यूज़ करेंगे और उसके बाद एक कंटेनर लेंगे जिसमें 10 ml ऑफ डिस्टिल वाटर होगा, वो उसको लेंगे। फिर जहाँ मर्करी स्पिलेज होगी हम कार्डबोर्ड से वो पूरी मर्करी स्पिलेज को कलेक्शन करेंगे और फिर उसके बाद हम ये सिरिंज से उसको सक करके हम डिस्टिल वाटर के बीच में इसमें डालेंगे और उसके बाद हम इसको सील करके उसको डिपार्टमेंट में भेज देते हैं।
Though it is important to equip people with the right know-how, it is rather prevention over cure that is the need of the day here. Internationally, there is a very strong movement against mercury. In July of 2007, the European Union Parliament passed a resolution to ban the trade of mercury by the year 2010. Policy changes by a government in one country don't just affect the immediate masses, instead have a far greater impact the world over. It is in the best interest of humanity that steps are taken now. Each effort counts. The need for change is upon us. Choose life. Eliminate mercury.
Choose your right to a mercury-free environment.
Say no to mercury.